Welcome to the Real Agents of Change podcast. We love to celebrate and support our nonprofits, those they serve and those who serve them. And the nonprofit of all nonprofits is Realty Gift Fund. What is the donation of real estate today, Bruce?
We're going to talk a little bit about a commercial donation that is underway. And I must say it hasn't closed yet, so the funds haven't been delivered yet to the charity of this donor's choice, which is to a donor-advised fund. But it's an interesting story, and it will help explain to your listening audience what kind of deals are possible from a complex set of ownership facts down to a simple donation. And this one has to do with a gentleman who is a dentist and owns a dentist practice across 6 different buildings in the Alabama region. And he is of an age where he is starting to deal with estate issues. He's not retiring, but he's getting his pieces in place. He owns this dental practice. He owns all 6 buildings. He is going to do what many people in that position do at a certain point in time, is sell the portfolio of 6 buildings, perhaps to 1 buyer, perhaps to 6 buyers, and do a sale leaseback where he retains possession of the property to operate his business out of until the day that he's ready to sell the practice to somebody else, which is way down the road. So he has his lease terms all figured out, and he's trying to attract a series of buyers or a buyer to buy these buildings or the portfolio under the terms that he is proposing for a leaseback over a period of time. The term is going to be 12 years. The lease rate is going to be market rate. It's going to be an absolute net lease, which is what investors are looking for, meaning that the tenant pays for all of the expenses of operating the building as well as operating the practice. This is very typical in the investment market that we have grown up in. He would like to make a charitable gift of a partial interest in one of the buildings. And this is what we are negotiating right now, because the entire portfolio is owned in an LLC. And he has to separate these buildings into their own pieces so that they can position themselves to be sold separately. And this one building that he has in mind that we're looking at to be donated separately so that he can retain approximately an 80% interest in the building, but donate a 20% interest in the building prior to its going under contract to sell. And he has a listing agent in mind. He has no buyer in the horizon. He's doing this exactly right. He's putting the donation in its proper place, which is before the property gets listed and before the property goes under contract. And when it does go under contract, if everything comes together according to our negotiations, Realty Gift Fund will be a 20% owner of the building, and his dental practice will be an 80% owner of the building. And when it goes under contract and then sells, he will pay taxes, capital gain taxes, on the 80% portion that he has retained, but the 20% portion will pass free of taxes, save all that money to flow through Realty Gift Fund's process to his donor advised fund. And it's a very clever move on his part.
Now, this is very different because typically the whole point of donating real estate to a nonprofit is that you donate it to the nonprofit and then the nonprofit sells the property. So how is this one being facilitated where it's being donated or it's being listed first? Because you said he's doing it in the right process.
Right. The donation actually will occur. We will go under contract for the donation. And then the property will be listed. And we will be named as a 20% owner, and he will be named as an 80% owner. And then the property will go under contract, and we will be named as a 20% seller, and he will be named as an 80% seller.
Got it.
Everything perfect.
So it's still the same basic process. It's just a percentage of the ownership as opposed to the whole thing.
Right. And we often will do bargain sales for our donors who want to have the benefit of selling a percentage of their property and donating the remaining percentage. But they will donate the entire property to us, and we will simply write them a check for the percentage that they have wished to retain. In this particular case, we are going to play the role of partner with our donor, 20%, 80%.
Now, I'm curious, where did this donor come from? You mentioned that the money is going into a donor advised fund. Was it the donor advised fund that put you in contact?
Yes, yes. It's the commercially operated. You know, they're the largest nonprofits in America are, for the most part, commercial sponsors of donor advised funds. So Fidelity, Schwab, Vanguard, American Endowment Foundation, National Philanthropic Association. Those are the big ones. And they have an army of people around the country gathering business for them. You know, Fidelity did $17.5 billion of donations last year. They have quite an effective army. And that's how our donors find us sometimes, is through that army.
Well, for those of you who are analytical and always looking for something creative and interesting, there you have it. You can always reach out to Realty Gift Fund and find out how they do these types of deals, and reach out to the real agents of change to discuss them also. Thank you for the story, Bruce. See you guys next time.
Thank you, Cammie.